Okay, this is a third session of the day after the lunch, and we intend it to be actively filled session. Hence, the resource person will deliver the presentation in the first half, and the next half will be interaction with the participant. So I request all the participants to actively participate in the interaction session. Now I request Mrs. Soumya Shri KS to introduce the today's resource person.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Soumeshri KS. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Soumeshri KS, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. It's a moment of extreme pleasure to introduce our honorable guest, Mr. Venkatesh S V, on behalf of the institution. I also offer my regards to all the dignitaries and participants joining us. Mr. Venkatesh S is the CEO and founder of Profile.in. Profile.in is a first of its kind passion portfolio building platform. He is the CEO of RiiiT, India's first IT finishing school, which mainly focuses on providing technology skills and empowering rural students. He introduced IT kits for rural students specifically designed with high-loaded features and make simpler to learn, which was started from HT Kote Government School, and it was published and marketed by Cambridge University Press. He has given more than 1,000 plus sessions on leadership across India and across 8 different countries. He was a former advisor to Ministry of Skills Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, New Delhi. He is also involved in social media team for MyGov initiative of Prime Minister Office. He has conceptualized unique skills awareness program called Skill on Wheels, has successfully implemented across India for Government of India. He has been awarded as Corporate Citizen Award by Chamber of Commerce. Received National Award in 2018, Dare to Dream Award from Z Business Channel for his excellence of innovative ideas. He has conceptualized MysoreIT.com in 1997 and had invited APJ Abdul Kalam to inaugurate MysoreIT.com in 2002. He was a former skill advisor of University of Mysore. It's a great to have Mr. Venkatesh S V with us to provide his valuable inputs on effective teamwork. We are pleased to have such a dignitary in our forum today. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. I hereby welcome Mr. Venkatesh S V to address online gathering. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for a wonderful introduction.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I can meet your expectations and respected, members who are all attending today. And let me first congratulate ATMU College for organizing one of the really wonderful
Soumya, please do turn off your video. Just a minute, sir. Please do turn off. Okay. Welcome you, sir. Please change.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I can go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
Thank
can
you,
proceed, sir.
So let me first congratulate the team of ATME as well as the management team and organizing the one of the important component of NEP 2020. I always, I was interacting with a couple of, IAS officers as well as in policy makers in Delhi. So I said that more than a policy, I think that more important is the purpose is more important than the policy. And with that note, I once again congratulate your team and thank you for giving me the wonderful opportunity to share my quick thoughts about effective team building. And what a time you have given me, that too in a post-lunch. And another challenge is on online. So I think now the most of the professors will understand how difficult it is to be sitting online and post-lunch. I think I think that's the challenge which I have, and try my best to interact with all of you, and let me see whatever that little I know, I love to share with all of you. So begin with the topic which has been shared to me called the effective team building. I quickly share. Let me first share quick thought with all of you. saying that because since I'm not a trainer, not from academic background of teaching community, so I may not be able. Don't expect me to be deliver on par the qualities of which you have already have gone through and which you are doing it. But I'm just trying to share my experience in this field so that I opted this particular topic because of effective team building. I'll try to share, and I've just tried to share my PPT so that you can connect me better. And another more important is I love to have a more interactive, real problem which you are facing. So which I know that solution I can definitely share with all of you. It maybe makes sense rather than just making a PPT presentation. So that's my disclaimer to all of you. So here I'll just share you my PPT. I'm sure without any technical glitches. So I'll share my PPT to all of you. Presentation is available to you. Can you?
No, sorry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes.
You can go forward,
Yes.
forward, sir.
So I just trying to today. I'm just trying to I just said I captured my thoughts and I'm trying to put it in a slide format. It is difficult to be put in a slide, but I'll try to do that. And if you have any questions, and please do ask me a questions, and somebody can facilitate me with their questions. I love to take up that questions and take it to the next grade. What is team building? According to me, I think there is a big challenge, and this is the team building is normally which happens at a different level. Maybe at the school level, from the college level, maybe once we get into the profession, and when we are into that as a volunteer. So there is a lot of team building activities which we do it, and real life team building is something which is much tough. So how we can able to take this to the next forward? So I just go through my one by one slide. I just made a very quick, brief slide for all of you to be understand. Hope I can able to effectively deliver that. So now here, let me start with my humble request to all of you. You can raise questions so that when I go through the each slide, because there's a lot of content I can share if there is a questions which is coming in. So that have you anybody tasted Kosumiwa drink? If anybody can pop up, it's good. That's called, I call them as a Kosumiwa drink. And if anybody have tasted, it is good. So that, I just wanted to understand so that I can able to give you a comparative difference between the Kosumiwa as well as the coffee.
So
I just
just a minute, sir, because the chat box is not working. If the participant raise their hands,
or
I
you can
can
probably can ask
unmute
the
it.
questions by voice. That could be the better. If there is a question, so that you can always just, unmute your mic and you can ask me a question.
No, for that we have to unmute it.
Oh,
Okay, if they raise their hands, definitely we will do that.
yeah, you can able to read out for that.
Yeah. Or they can put up their answer in the WhatsApp group. I can communicate that also.
Oh,
Dear
that's nice.
participant, you can answer in WhatsApp group or just you can raise your hands. I can unmute yourself. Okay, none of the participant is not answering, sir.
Okay.
Not raised
So,
any in the WhatsApp group also. They have not shared any ideas.
okay, fine.
Okay.
I only wish that let them have a good coffee and get them awake. I love to interact with most of them, and because I can also learn a couple of things from all of you. So I'll just go ahead with what is Kosumiwa. The most important is, please understand, one of the most important. I'm trying to give you the relativity example to the education sector, and I want you to understand that what is Kosumiwa. So I'm just trying to prepare a Kosumiwa. If somebody knows this, and please let me correct me, okay? Or I will just show you that trying to share you the how to prepare a coffee so that you can also guide me if it is wrong or right. So I just wanted to share you that that I'm going to pick up the vessel. I'll just heat it up on the stove, gas stove, and the first thing is what I do is I pour, I just pour at least 3 to 4 spoons of coffee powder. Just imagine what is going to happen. If I'm going to place the vessel and started heating it up and empty vessels, if I pour 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 spoons of coffee powder onto it, what is going to happen? On above, if I'm going to be placed 2 to 3 or 4 spoons of sugar, just imagine what it's going to happen. Then if I pour at least 1 or 2 cup of milk, what is going to happen? And the more important is if I'm going to be placed, pour 1 or 2 cup of water, what is going to happen? So will this going to be a coffee? So anyway, I'll answer it because it's online. If you have anybody answer, it's good. This is not going to be a coffee. If you know how to prepare a coffee, this is not going to be a coffee. And this become, I call it as a kosumiwa. So it's a CO for coffee powder and SU for a sugar and MI for a milk and water, W for a water, so that it's become a kosumiwa. It will not going to become a coffee. The more important, which I just wanted to share with you, is this is you can able to relate it to your department, you can relate it with your college, that if that anything, even in the classroom, the most important is it is not just about the ingredients. It is not just about the ingredients. Look at that cricket team. Look at that many other team. You may have 3 good bowlers or 5 good bowlers and 5 good batsmen, 2 good all-rounder, manybody, you may have a many, but still we are going to lose that match because of effective team management. I will give you the one of the typical example of the coffee. I always love this coffee as well as the kosumiwa. Why this is very, very important. In the college, normally I think the most important, even in a teaching methodology, I just wanted to share with everybody. Normally what we do is we allocate the classrooms based on the teacher's availability than the subject we are supposed to teach in different timings. Now, if there is a core subject, I think we need to look at where we can able to place this core subject, where we have to be placed, more interactive session, how we can able to prepare ourselves for a morning session, for a same session, but if it is being loaded on a last session of the day, how we should be able to load ourselves. I think this is just, I wanted to give you the kind of examples to all of you. In an education sector, the most important is, this is the combinations of everybody. What an effective team management is the classic example of the education, because from the driver who organized the bus facilities till that the most important is the last person who go out of the campus has to be highly synchronized. If that is not going to be highly synchronized, I think then that objective is get defeated. We may bring in the lot of policies for a college and the management, but if each person is not going to be fall in place, I think this is where exactly we are going to lose. And today I'm going to talk about how do we improve that a team as much more efficient team. Now I just go back and just share you about a coffee, sugar and milk, water. Look at the most important. The one of the most important, preparing a coffee, you need to understand it's just not a chemistry. It is, you need to understand the art of preparing of the coffee. So when you prepare the art of preparing of coffee, the most important is you should know how to the process of making a coffee and what time you have to add ingredients and what a temperature you need to do this. I think this is very, very, very important. A coffee alone, nobody can even taste a coffee powder alone. And a coffee, only if it is merged with sugar, milk, and water, then only it become a beautiful coffee. It will going to have a lot of value to the market. So now here, even for us, or even for anybody, if he's a leader, he has to be gel with the team. If he's a management, he has to be gel with it. If he's an individual, he has to be gel with the team. And the more important is each and every person has to participate with his exclusive skills, but he should be inclusive in the team. He must be inclusive in the team. Now the sugar will going to bring his own component into the coffee, milk bring its own component into the coffee, and water will bring, and then it makes the coffee beautiful. And the more important is the who is going to take the credit. The coffee is going to take the credit, not the sugar, not the milk and water. But the more important is, but coffee also understand that individually, if the coffee powder stand, it has no value unless it mixed with sugar, milk, and water. So this is where exactly I just wanted to take a thread of what is hot coffee means is all about. I'll move on to the next one. Today I'll be talking about 2 components. What is teamwork and where teams are essential to success and what makes you a successful team. So I'll request you to rise up your questions so that it's going to be much more effective. But I start with the one question to everybody. One question, so probably you can answer it to me in a later. Do you know the why is flies in the V formation? What happens when one particular, the leader which followed of the formation or anybody is going to be followed of the formation? And what happens when the lead is hired? So I think this is a question which I just wanted to shoot it with everybody. Understand this question. Probably at the end, if you know that, it is a very, very simple question. I'm sure you all know it. So probably we can take up this question a bit later. I move on to the now, how to build a team. Do you have a choice to select the team member? I think this is something which is more and more important. I had an opportunity to meet one of the good senior IAS officer, and he said beautifully, I have to work, I have to execute it, and I have a team. But the most important, he said, I don't have a choice to select my boss because I don't know the which minister will be my boss. And he also said, I really don't know that who is going to be my subordinator because of both. It is not in his hand. So, but he has to act and he has to opt and he has to work on it. I think that is a kind of a challenging a scenario every leader is going to get. So today I will try to touch upon management as well as leadership both. So I think let me see how we can able to it could have been better if there is a lot of questions which is there. But now I'll take questions myself and try to answer it. Do you have a choice to select the team member? Now that is the most important is assumption. Now you're all academicians. Sometimes you have an opportunity to select your team. Sometimes you may not have a choice to select your own team, nor your boss, but you need to be functional, right? And you need to make this happen. Now here, so how we can able to face that a scenario. Now I'll move on to that. How do I build it? How do I make sure that it has to be working on? Probably I can try and give you my own examples and see how we can able to build a team more efficient. One is once I develop a team, this is what I'm just trying to share because how I do because I've been worked with different teams, and the more important is I am going to share you with my work with Delhi. I have worked with different organizations, so that normally what I do is I share a vision. I share a vision to everybody. I try to make them to be understand. It's a long process. I understand, but I make them to understand. I will not communicate my vision. I'm very clear. I just not going to communicate vision. I pass the gravity of the vision because that's the most important is I need to I share a gravity of the vision. I want to understand my co-worker, my co-friend, my team, everybody has to be understand vision. And the more important is I always keep them telling them about the purpose of the vision because that's more important is I don't want my team to be understand for the sake of it. I always tell them understand the vision more effectively, why we are all here together. I think this is one thing which is the most important is I strongly look at this is my 50% of my work is go on that making everybody to be understand. Whenever I'm going to meet them, I enable them, I charge them, I motivate them and share that kind of a common vision. So most important is a vision is important. I always love to have the common vision. Everybody should be able to have a vision. This is what I find in a bigger organization, including the government. What happens is the government comes out with the beautiful policies, with the beautiful vision, but it is boiled down to the mid management and to the down. By the time of implementation, vision are different and what is there or what is being conceptualizing in the beginning. Because we have not communicated the vision. We have not communicated the vision to the mid management and the people who are all executing it. Second, fine, once his vision is right, and then what is a clear goal? I think we need to talk about the clarity of the goal. This is what we are going to do that. This is what we are going to do so. These are the milestones. This is what we can able to do it. And I always tell you the most important is what I have learned is I request my team to be come out with, I set the goal, I tell them to be come out with a a roadmap for it. I will not going to be set them a deadline because I know how they know that how much of time consumes it is going to take, and they know the team, they know better. So that I will also tell them this is what my expectation is all about. I request them to be come out with a roadmap, and that has helped me in a many ways how we can we can achieve that a goal with a clear roadmap, not missing out the purpose because not missing out the purpose is most important is. So the clear deadlines. This is something which I'm talking about. What is the deadline? As I said repeatedly, that I don't give deadline to my team. I tell them, you set the goal and you fix the deadline. Stick to it. Stick to it. And the more important is when I monitor on every stages and I make sure they can able to work on it. I don't monitor for the sake of a monitoring it. Probably in the next slide, I'm going to talking about how I'm going to be monitor, how I'm going to be interact, how I'm going to take it to the next level. But I closely monitor. That is a more important. So I request them to be set a clear deadlines, but I monitor are they able to achieve their milestones with their time which they have set. And I always tell this particular team that the most important is do what you do best. I think this is something as a leader, we have to understand the each personality and the person who's there in our team. We have to understand the each one and how they are unique. I just wanted to share one quick thought because probably, soon you will also, Government of India and Government of Karnataka is launching one of the biggest event right now. It's called as Celebrate Uniqueness. This is we have conceptualized after the skill on wheel. Now we have conceptualized called as a skill on. After the skill on wheel, celebrate uniqueness. Why I'm talking about this is we have been comparing that engineering student with art student with commerce student, with a science student, or that more important is a student from ITI or a diploma. I think this is very, very unfair. Even it is unfair to even cover or compare a student within the classroom. And that is what normally we used to do is we ask even the fish to climb the tree. So now here we want to make sure that everybody are a talented. My question is everybody are unique first. They are unique. So how do we make them? How do we make them to celebrate their uniqueness? Just want to share you one data with all of you. At the age of between to 3 and 6, the age between the 3 and 6, you can just Google it and find out. Most of the kids in India, they're all unique. The age between 3 to 6, up to age of 6, the kids are very, very unique. The real is 98% of the kids are unique up to age of 6. By the time they come to age of 18, around 90% of the kids are same. Only 10% are unique. So what is that our education is going to preparing them for? I think this is something a different topic, but these are the reality. So, but why I have brought this component inside of the effective team is each one in the team is different. You will definitely, there is a one team member, he may act like a snake, another one is like an elephant, another one may be a dog, another may be a crocodile, another may be a, different animal. There's a mentality. The more important is how we can able to take all this mindset together. I think that's a big challenge. How do we face it? And that challenge, if we can meet, then we can have a real effective team. So now, sorry if you have any questions, I'll pick up the questions. If any questions, is I audible?
Yes, sir, you are clearly audible. And also for WhatsApp group also I have sent an invitation.
Your voice is not audible to me. Let me set my.
Sir, your voice is clearly audible.
Okay. Any?
And I have sent the message to join WhatsApp group also, FDP WhatsApp group. Dear participants, do you have any questions? Or,
I have joined
please.
the WhatsApp group too.
Yeah.
Any questions are there?
No,
If
sir.
any questions is there before that, and let me
No,
address.
no, no,
Then
no.
I'll move on.
No, sir.
So I think I can move ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you can proceed, sir.
Thank you. So now, how do we? I always look at that my team because I have a team. I'm just trying to share how I build my team because I have my team who have been with me for my 10 years, who have been with me for a long time. But how do we? I do that is very simple. When I hire, because I had a biggest advantages is I hire my team so that I'm very, very choosy about it. And some of you may not have this kind of opportunity to hire a team, but still if you have, but I always look at like this. What do I do? I always give them an achievable goal. Everybody I will understand. More important is I understand every person. I'll try to understand their background, their family background, so that the kind of education they have, the kind of exposure they have, I understand. Then I give them an achievable goal in a small way. And that is how I handle this a individual. He may be a weak or he may be a strong, but I try to understand how each is all about. Now, the more important is sometimes I follow the footpath of the mother. If there is a one handicap, especially able kid is there at home, she gives a more importance to that kid. So similarly, definitely I do handle it very, very carefully that who are weak. But the most important is I also ensure that they understand, they learn. Some people they learn in a slow pace. Some people learn in a different pace of learning. But I will educate every candidate saying that what is that expected out of him, what is that he's delivering it, and where exactly he stands, so that it is much more very clear my expectation and his deliverables. So the set achievable goal, that is one thing. Delegate task effectively. That is something which is more and more important. We have to be very clear. If you are a leader, you need to know how to delegate the task, because we delegate the task. Is it achievable? Is that person who can able to achieve that, who can able to deliver that? I think this is something we need to, we have to introspect when we load, when we delegate task to the person. That is one. Manage time wisely. I always use the, because I use it in a software. I use a Gantt chart, so that is where exactly I give them how they can able to manage time, and that is where exactly I can bring in how effectively they can able to manage the time. I normally don't expect my team to be work more than office hours, but still we ensure that how effectively they can able to do that. And one of the most important, I request everybody to educate that leakages of the efficiency of the time. And the most important is it urgent task, are they doing it? Is it urgent and important task, are they doing it? And everybody we're talking about, most of the time we are doing the task which is not important, not urgent. And that is where exactly I call it as that inefficiency. That is where exactly inefficiency. And now I have shifted more than urgent and important. Now I tell my team members saying that, are you doing significant task? Is it anything significant? Whatever you are doing it, is it any significance? So I think I push them to do something which is more and more significance, and that definitely the best way of time management. Time management is not talking about I will be doing my task instead of 45 minutes, I'll be doing it in 30 minutes. I think the more important is whatever I do in the 30 minutes is I am doing it in an effective way. And this is what I suggest everybody. Probably when I go to class, I always do that. 30 minutes of my, I prepare my students for a 30 minutes. I talk to them, I interact with them. But I know their listening power is only 7 minutes. But whatever I want to push it, after 30 minutes, I push for 7 minutes. And then another 7 minutes, I pick up the Q&A, then I'll exit. So why I'm talking about is I prepare them to accept the 7 minutes of content. I take 30 minutes to prepare them to accept the 7 minutes of the content. And once they understand that effectively, I think my job is done. I think that's where exactly I can able to look at time management is using time wisely rather than a time management. Discuss the teamwork frequently. I think this is something which is very important, because I do this, frequently I talk to them. Frequently means very frequently, but very quick time. I chat with around 15 minutes, have a stand-up meeting, understand what exactly they're looking out for. And I understand their, differences, so that, I just put them onto that, just add a value to it. And just, if I, just add some energy to the team, so that, the team is going to do that. I think this is, as a leader, if I request everybody, I'm sure you're all doing it, but I'm just saying that, this is something which is more valuable with my experience. 360 performance review. I think this is something which is, I have liked this most because I'm following this. What is the 360-degree? I'm not going to be take one review. My immediate leader is going to say that, okay, what is that, their subordinate is good or bad, if they're functioning or not, if they need any hand holding. But I always try to take a 360-degree approach. I will talk to them. I'll make it a point to talk to them. I'll make it a point to his subordinators. I'll make it a point to speak to their boss. So everybody I'll speak to them. I'll try to take a 360-degree. I think this is something which has really helped to understand the candidate weakness and understand their strength also. This is something which is very useful. I give them, I don't take a feedback at the end. I take the feedback very frequently. I take the feedback. It need not be a formal feedback. I take the feedback informal and sometimes formal, so that indirect feedback, direct feedback, and say that I go back and I always go and give this. This is something probably which has worked for me. Whenever I give them a feedback of negative feedback, which I need to communicate to my team, I communicate when he's alone, or it is only on an individual one-on-one. But when I want to appreciate him, I always appreciate him with my team, and that's something which has helped me. Probably, I'm sure you're all doing it. It may be useful to you. So this is something I always pick up that weak team member. I keep spending more time with them, motivating them, and trying to put a purpose inside his mind so that he can also, compete with others and give them a bit more time so that that's will help me to work on. This is something more important is, I think I've seen that most of the time we build a team, how to build and when to build is more important. When do we build this particular team? Is it a time to build a team? Because that's the most important is. Because if any startups are there, I just wanted to share that idea is, when you are a startup, I think don't scratch much about building huge team. I think that's not worth. Please work on your ideation. Please work on your ideation and ensure maybe one or two members within your team, or I'm talking about two members, if they're a co-founder, co-worker, whomever you are going to get associated. I think you should start working with them and trying to understand your formula, understand your ideation level. And once the ideation level is good, then I think always look at building a very, very micro team, and that is where exactly you should know when to scale. I use the word when to scale because you should know, because building a team is one, sustaining the team is another biggest important. Once you sustain the team, then take the team toward succeed. I think that's the third stage. I think this is very, very important. Building a team, everybody talking about, but when to build, this is very, very important. Focus on serving rather than managing. This is, I request every team leader to serve. What is that you can contribute to the team? You can contribute to the team instead of managing the team. Because in a bank we have managers, but the more important is in academic. I think we need a leaders right now. What is that? If there is a team A, how I can able to complement their work? Instead of managing, instead of taking attendance, okay, what is that done? What is that done? How I can able to complement certain things with my thought? I think that could be the better way of, I strongly believe that serving each team as a leader is much, much, much better. Third component is positive workspace. I always make them. So what do you mean by a positive workspace? This is what I just looking at. It's not about a huge infrastructure. It's not about a air conditioned room. It's not about just to cheer them and ensure that every leader, you need to cheer them. When you go to the class, you go because the more important is gain attention is the more important in the classroom. So when you go to that a team building, or when you are going with a team, so how do you make your smile, which is going to be very, very useful? How you can able to cheer them? How you can able to bring that energy? The more important is, as a leader, you have to bring the energy to the team, and that is where exactly you cannot suck that energy. You have to bring the energy, and that is where exactly I strongly look at positive workspace. Please don't mistake that positive workspace is something like highly air conditions. That is different. But you can able to do that. I can give you, definitely going to give you a beautiful examples how we have worked on certain projects, and with a very minimal space, or minimum opportunities, or minimum team size, or how we have done it. On probably the end, I am definitely going to share that. This is something which is more important, is encourage and nurture. I know it is difficult because sometimes our temperament is different, so that we talking about negative things, or we may tell them on the face. But what is I learn is very simple. Rather than telling them or shouting at them, I think it's uh, we may think that I'm open to everybody, I'm openness, and I'm practical. I tell them on their face. No, I think this is something. Is it? I feel it is insensitive. I think this is, as a leader, we need to understand it is insensitive. Understand, and I strongly look at that a leader who's leading this team should have patience. A lot of patience is definitely going to be help us. And going forward, I tell you, why this is going to be very, very effective, and I'm sure you all know about it. Be open to change. This is something which is very, very, very important because we expect every year. I expect my student to change. I expect my neighbor to change. I expect my a son to change, a daughter to change. Change myself is a better answer. Why change is very, very important. There are one more point, I'm not going to be value add. Is a change is the most important. I see there is more than a change, improvisation. I love word called improvisation. Improvisation is a very, very key factor. We need to improve. It is once you have changed, okay, that you have understood. I'm not good at A and I'm going to be changed to the B. But then stick to that and stick to that domain, improvise it, improvise it, improvise it. The more important is I need to how I can able to effectively improvise it. So how I can be open to improvisation. That is more important. Everybody, how each one of us can we improve on our own domain. I think this is very, very key. And that definitely going to help you. The open mind definitely going to help us to improvise it. And that improvise it is going to be the better way of taking it forward. Next component I bring in, we are all talking about called as a SWOT analysis. So I don't call it as a SWOT analysis, I call it as SWOT analysis. Yes, W-O-T, I've replaced T with a C because I don't see T as a threat. It is more negative word. So instead of, I use a C as a challenge. So the S is a strength, W is a weakness, O is an opportunity, and the challenges. Why I'm talking about each one, and we have to identify the strength of each one. We know there are a cricket bowler, so that we need to use them as a bowling. If he's a batman, we have to use it for a bat, to bat. If somebody is good at something else, I think we need to be use that, and that is very, very, very critical. So we need to understand each member's strength. And you always look at that, this guy is good in making presentation to me, give them a presentation to me, but he may not be able to, build a content. So it's better to be give them a content to somebody else who can able to prepare a content. I think that's how we should be able to use it, and we should play on their strength rather than a weakness. I think this is something which is about identify the strength of the team is very, very important. Then weakness, figure out their weakness. And always my humble request to every leader is very simple. Give them a team task which they enjoy most. If you allocate the task on their weakness, what happens is they're not able to deliver it. They don't enjoy, they don't love, and they don't deliver it effectively. And especially for a trainer, because I used to tell them, the most important, before I go to the class, I tell my teacher saying that, love them and then you teach them. Because I strongly look at love them and teach them. This has worked in all ages. It works in all the ages if you take it in the right meaning. Because if you look at, because I have visited one of the school, LKG, UKG, and up to the second standard, and the teacher was, playing fun. And with all these kids, I said to the teacher, the more important is you are really enjoying to the core. I see your passion. And more important is for you to enjoy with the kids. Your institution is paying you good. Means you have to give them an opportunity for everybody to play on their strength, not on the weakness. And that is something which you need to cherish your life and playing on a strength. I think this is something you need to identify their weakness and not allow them, but certainly help them to come out of the weakness. Certainly help them to come out of the weakness, and that is something which can do. Opportunities. I think losing money is not a big thing, but losing opportunity is a very, very, very big. Somebody's problem is somebody's opportunity. I think this is we need to seriously look at. That is something which I strongly look at. Previously, you should always look at the opportunity. Now I say, please create opportunity. Create opportunity. I think this is something which every lecturer, every professor, every student should be able to look at. How do I can able to create an opportunity within the kind of organization where I am in? I think this something creating an opportunity. Creating an opportunity is something which is very, very important. So last one, it is not a threat, it is challenges. Everything have a challenges. Whenever I want to do something, the first thing is we get a rejection. So they reject us. And the next, they accept it. And finally they respect it if the things are good. I think how do we overcome the challenges? I think this is something which we need to seriously look at. How to overcome the kind of a challenges. Today there are wonderful opportunities and wonderful, a big opportunities are available to everybody, but there are a lot of challenges. How do we overcome those challenges and to achieve that? So just to summarize, SWOT, SWOC, strength, weakness, and opportunities and challenges identified, and make a SWOT analytics of every team members, make them to understand what is the strength all about, and this please compare that every quarter. Can you able to change what was his strength 3 months back was like this? Is it going to be staying or is it been improved version on that? And this was a weakness 3 months back. He did mention to me saying that have you have worked on that? I think this is constantly we need to monitor. But is it a time consuming it? Yes, it is a time consuming it. It is good, but the more important is highly effective way going forward. Highly effective way going forward. So just to summarize, because I said, I'm going to have interaction with around 45 minutes to 1 hour, then, my session, then probably followed by questions. Please ensure that, you can ask me any kind of a question, whatever I know a little, I'm going to share it. But this is what I strongly believe. The team is not a group of people. A team is a group of people who trust and work together. I think normally what happens is when we have a group of people, we call it as a team. No, that is not a team. That is a group of people. I think the team is a group of people who trust and work together. So this is a note I just wanted to leave it at the end, saying that, can we build effective team? It may be team of 2, it may be team of 20, it may be team of 200, right? So how effectively are we going to build this team? I think that's something which is very important, right? So I just wanted to leave you with that thought and share 1 or 2 case studies which has happened in Mysore. So probably these are the 2 case studies. I was part of this as involved in this 2 event. What is that 1 event? On the right hand side, we have a team called the Let's Do It Mysore. I just wanted to leave you with this is a great example to everybody. In a Mysorean, there are only 3-4 people started Let's Do It Mysore. And after 1 year or 2 years, I do also join this Let's Do It Mysore. The objective was to clean up 1 location or 2 locations and to try to work towards it. This has started in 2013. And the more important is one day, I still remember this was on March 21st in 2013, that event has started and they kicked off and everybody thought, who's going to come out in Mysore, because Mysore is a different kind of a paradise is Mysore. But how can you expect people to come out on Sunday morning, 6 o'clock, that to clean? And it has so happened because the more important is that team of 4-5 members has started there and they have taken it in a very big way. And this, I have witnessed this, I have seen this event, and more than 34,800 people were participated on one of that event on one day, and they lifted around 400 tons of plastic. 400 tons of plastic in Mysore, and they made they're so proud of it. And one of the most important, I just wanted to bring it to everybody's notice, saying that it was not paid event. It was not a paid event because 34,800 Mysoreans are voluntarily participated to clean and bring their garbage back, start picking it up. The most important is that at the age of 4 to maybe at the age of up to 80, people were participated, and with 34,800 people in one day, they made Mysore proud. I think this is something which I just want to give you one of the classic example. If your purpose is good and if your significance is going to make some significance into your city, people love to come. People love to come. The most important is just not they just come and participated. They started, sponsoring this event. They started, some people, they said, I will sponsor you around 2,500 a breakfast kit. So that is how people were loud and they participated. But the most important is, how do you manage these 34,800 people? How do you take them into the account, to function is much more better. It was well planned, well executed, built a team within inside of the team, made this Mysore as a zone, made Mysore as each zone has been divided into the ward. Ward has been divided into the cluster, and each clusters they have appointed a one leader who is called the coordinators, and they have coordinated very well. So I think this is something which is a classic example of effective team building, and effectively they have built and they've executed. That is the one example. Probably you have been participated in 2017 yoga, wherein 56,400 people were participated. So amazed. It's world record created by yoga. How they've managed. You know, the most important is, I said I just wanted to give a credit to every organizer who have participated. Very, very well organized. You know, the look at that, you know, a DDPU, DDPI, and the more important is that a higher education segment, all industries, CII, NASCOM, and you know, Mysore Chamber of Commerce, all the institutions, everybody, district administration, everybody were part of all the yoga, you know, training institutions in Mysore. Everybody were participated, and everybody well assembled, well disciplined. 56,400 members. It created a history in the Mysore in 2017. And that was, and I still remember, this is a particular event which has around 4,000 volunteers in the morning at 6:45, the day of the yoga, which has begun. Almost 4,000 volunteers were there. They've created a 4,000 volunteers and they did that. And these are the two classic examples. I just thought, I just wanted to share it with everybody. And this is because these two has very, very, very clear. There is no personal agenda. There's a clear purpose. They want to make Mysore win. And I always look at there is how you can be able to do that. Sometimes we should lose to win. Sometimes we can win to win, right? And that is something which is people who are participated. They thought that they have lost the time by spending their time to do this, but they've successfully they've achieved it. I think this is something which I thought, I can, share it with all of you. These are the two beautiful events in Mysore, apart from Dasra, because, Dasra has budget, Dasra has many things, and I'm sure it has been structured, it has been delivered many years, but this is something which is done by a volunteers and non-paid volunteers. I think that is what I just wanted to emphasize. And there are many leaders, many people, many, industries, institutions who have participated and made things a successful story. So with that note, thank you for giving me the wonderful opportunity to deliver whatever the little I know. If you have any questions, I'll love to take these questions, and I can interact. I can share my thoughts with all of you.
Okay, dear participant, this is a session after the lunch. This is a post-lunch session. It is very difficult to sit and concentrate. Just you can raise your hands. I can unmute you so you can interact with the resource person. Okay. Yes, sir, you can proceed. Ravi Kumar, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, sir. Venkatesh, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, your voice is audible. You can proceed.
Mr. Venkatesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, it's a good session. It was a good session, and about team building, which is very vital in any organization's performance, has been highlighted here. So my small question is that can a team be built for a specific purpose? Like, there are some specific purpose which is there for a period of time. For that period of time, can we build a team, and then the team can be, the same people can be used for some other task where again the dynamics and the intentions are different. So can a team be built for a specific purpose?
No, wonderful question, sir, and wonderful question, because it can be done. It can be done. That is the reason I've given you that. Probably you must be know about Mysore Yoga has been created with a completely different team, and after that, the team has been some again. They're out and they started working on their own. But again, we have created a one more team for a different purpose. So the here is definitely you can able to do that. You can do that, but only thing is you have to be choosy about whom you have to use it for a what purpose. I think that is the one thing. One single word answer is yes, you can build a team, because the most important is I've seen a lot of event management teams. They conduct different types of events. But the more important is they build the team, they work on it. Again, they come back and next day they come out with a different event. They start working towards. Yes, sir, that is possible.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I think that's all.
Okay, thank you so
Okay,
much.
just a
Thank you
minute.
for a
Okay, just a minute, sir. Good evening, all. On behalf of ATME College of Engineering and organizing team of FDP, I would like to thank Mr. Venkatesh for sharing his valuable knowledge on the topic effective teamwork. I hope the information what you have shared during your session will be very much helpful in the building of efficient team. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much for a wonderful opportunity, and I wish you many more success the day to come. I just want to leave you with one thought with everybody. Concluding, Government of Karnataka and Government of India is planning to launch one of the mega event. Is called as Celebrate Uniqueness. It's for a age between the 16 to 26. It is for a age of 16 to 26, and we have been partnered and we are helping them to bring out that unique talented across. Right now this is going to be experimental in Karnataka, and they are going to take it across the India. One of the most important, because a lot of professors are there, I think it's going to be very, very, very useful. Normally what we do is we make a students to build their portfolio or resumes at the last day of the last semester, and we ask them to fulfill their accomplishment, passion, extracurricular activities, and all that. The problem is most important is that it's too late for them to realize, because they realize because they don't have anything to fill. So now that government has realized and we have given a solution, what is the solution is very simple. They can build the portfolio or a resume instead of on the last day of the last semester. They should start building their resumes in the first year PUC. So in 11th standard, they can start building, and they can start working towards it. And the future after the post-COVID, it is a new normal, is going to have your resume, virtual resume. I think that virtual resume will going to be helpful to everybody. And that is how every student and every person, how we have an Aadhaar number, that every youth and every personality should also have their microsite to demonstrate their uniqueness. This is the agenda and this is the objectives of the next mission called as Celebrate Uniqueness. This is going to be there. It is definitely, I'm sure, by first week of February, it is going to be, this event will be launched. I request everybody to, to please pass it on to your own respective students to participate in very, very big way. And I'm sure objective is very simple. Let's build unique talents in India. With that note, thank you for everybody. And if you have any doubts on the Celebrate Uniqueness, have a helpline, they're coming out, and probably you can be able to see more about it. And thank you for a wonderful opportunity for me to share. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Sir, one request from our
Yes.
side. If there is any link to corresponding to this one, please post it, float it in a WhatsApp group, sir.
Yeah, definitely I will share.
Yeah,
And,
please do that, sir.
yes, definitely I
So
will share.
maximum will get benefited from that.
Definitely,
Maximum students. Okay.
definitely,
O-
definitely.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Dear participants, feedback link will be shared in the ATAL FTP ATMEC WhatsApp group. Kindly submit your responses. And tomorrow's session will start at 9:30 a.m. Kindly join the session. Thank you. Thank you all.